So last week we got a pretty big teaser that there will be some ODST equipment coming to Helldivers, and so I've spent most of this week discussing UNSC weapons that might make their way to Helldivers as it comes to Xbox. And we're going to continue that trend today, talking about the other primary weapon we see the ODSTs use quite a bit, something unique to them. Today we're going to discuss the M6C SOCOM, or the Automag, the sidearm used by the ODSTs. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, head down below and hit that subscribe button. Now, the M7S is obviously a fascinating and, in my opinion, visually appealing weapon, but not nearly as unique as the sidearm used by the ODSTs. And that's interesting because it is technically the same sidearm used by the entirety of the rest of the UNSC, the M6. So let's discuss exactly what makes this weapon so unique and what separates it from the rest of the UNSC military's M6s. Well, for starters, the name, the M6C, means it's the C variant of the M6, which is what we see primarily in Halo 2, this sort of snubbed, almost Glock-looking pistol. Like the submachine gun, it was designed and manufactured by Misra Armories, which designed and manufactured most of the small arms for the UNSC during the course of the Human Covenant War, and it was chambered in a surprisingly large round. Well, in the games, the pistol appears quite small, like a normal handgun. In reality, if we use the scales that are given, it's absolutely massive. And that kind of goes along with the round it was chambered in, because this pistol fires a 50 caliber bullet. Specifically, the M225 12.7 by 40 millimeter armor-piercing, high-explosive bullet, which was manufactured by the same Misra Armories. And, by the way, that's common through all M6s, regardless of whether we're talking about the M6G from Halo 3, or the M6C from Halo 2, or really any of the Halo pistols. They all fire the same 50 caliber bullet, which kind of makes sense when you look at what the UNSC is fighting. Giant aliens like brutes are going to take a pretty big round to bring them down. So, it's not surprising. But like the submachine gun, the ODSTs made quite a bit of modifications to this weapon to make it fit their needs. We're going to start up here with the front, with once again, the most obvious modification is the suppressor. This big boxy element on the front here is a silencer that's more or less integrated into the weapon. The slide actually moves out from underneath it. It does exactly what you think a suppressor would do. It makes the sidearm quieter, at the expense of making it quite a bit longer. But that actually gives the ODSTs a great mounting place for, well, it's different than this one. This is an actual flashlight mounted on here. But they would have mounted down there a flashlight and laser sight combination that I suspect also includes their Smart Link targeting system, because like the submachine gun, which has a targeting system that interfaces directly with the heads-up display, so does the Automag, as it was called by many of the soldiers. Interestingly, that sight actually gave this sidearm quite a bit of magnification, making it almost a designated marksman weapon, able to take headshots at very long ranges, something that it became notably good at, once again, because it has a 4x zoom on a pistol that's firing a 50 caliber bullet. So you've got a weird combination here already. And by the way, that's a substantially more capable zoom than the sort of sight that the standard M6s had for most of the rest of the UNSC, which barely magnified at all and was just designed to give a vague idea where the round was going to go. Still entirely reliant on a heads-up display, by the way. At this point, we've more or less abandoned iron sights, even though this pistol does have some rudimentary iron sights. The other major difference between the SOCOM variant of the M6C and the standard M6C that was deployed across the UNSC at the time was the magazine. Well, the standard M6C came with an 8 or 10 round magazine. The ODSTs opted for a 12 round extended mag, which gave them a greater ammunition capacity when operating in combat. That just leans into the fact that this pistol was really intended for use as sort of a light marksman weapon, as opposed to a backup sidearm for emergency cases. It's totally reasonable to suspect that several ODSTs opted to use this weapon more than their standard submachine gun, as this honestly packs more of a punch, especially at a greater range. Like the submachine gun, one of the key advantages of the M6C is that it could be stored in the pod with the rest of the ODST's equipment, as opposed to having to be stored in external, storage bays. But, I mean, that's really the case for any sidearm. This is, honestly, as far as the sidearm goes, ridiculously large, so you're really not going to get much bigger than this. But the trade-off is it does pair well with the submachine gun, both of them being silenced, and it does make a nice sort of medium-range counterpart to the relatively short range of the M7S caseless submachine gun. But other than the silencer, the improved optics setup, the flashlight, and the extended mags, the modifications on this weapon are actually relatively limited. It's really just more interesting that it's a scoped 50 caliber pistol with a big silencer on it, which is just a weird combination to begin with, but does kind of make some sense in the context of the Human Covenant War, like I mentioned earlier. Still, it's part of the sort of duo that form the core of the weapons deployed by the ODSTs, and part of the pair of weapons I'm kind of really hoping make their way into Helldivers. If you'd like to learn about the other weapon in this pair, the M7S caseless submachine gun, the suppressed SMG that was deployed by the ODSTs, first seen in Halo 3 ODST, although it was technically in a demo for Halo 2 before then, I'll leave a link up here to my video on the M7S. But I'd like you to let me know down in the comments which of these two weapons you prefer, which was more fun to use in Halo 3 ODST, and which do you hope to see in Helldivers? The M7S caseless submachine gun, the suppressed submachine gun from ODST, or the Automag, the silenced Magnum from that same game? And if you have anything else you'd like to see me cover in Halo or anywhere else in science fiction, you can let me know down below in the comments. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.